All right, so here we are. We're looking at, and here's kind of the context of what I had shot him over earlier. I'd already sent him a proposal at this point, and we were looking at the enterprise package for 100 users is kind of that minimum cutoff point. And you can see the price right there. Right now, present day, $14.40 per user, standard 20% discount. And again, he's got 50 people in the tool right now. And so what I'm trying to do is encourage him, hey, don't go the self-service route, go the enterprise route, you'll get customer success, et cetera, et cetera. And then he comes back with, I am not keen to pay for hundreds of users up front. This would cost the business more money. We have 50 users on the system and it's growing quickly. We would like to move forward with $9 per user once the CEO has approved the system. So he said that earlier, and I said, all right, let's get on a phone. I tried calling him, trying to get a conversation because it's just terrible to try and handle stuff like this over email. It's never fruitful trying to negotiate price. Got to get him on the phone. But he's in the UK. I've called him 6 times. He's never picked up. Called his assistant twice. Never picks up. So my thought was I'll send him a video and try to pitch him on basically having a call with some of the stakeholders. But before I even cover what I tried to do, I want to hear like some thoughts of how do you guys handle a situation like this where A, you've gotten someone really far down the sales cycle and then they come back to you and they're like, yeah, we want to pay 1,000 user pricing for 50. I think that he's actually a really skilled buyer who's good at his job, and he's probably bought a lot of software before. And so he knows that if he anchors himself at an extremely low, absurd price point, that if I'm not aware of the situation, I'll drop my price somewhere in the middle and give him a better discount. So yeah, what else do you guys think?
Don't forget that he has a lot to lose too if he doesn't get what he wants. So don't just bend over and give him obviously, because it sounds like they have a lot of skin in the game. They're going to use your product no matter what. It's just what terms basically and what price.
What are you thinking, Patrick?
So I just slacked read this, but I know these people. I had a sales cycle with, and I had the same issue, which I just think is funny. I wasn't negotiating with the same person, but I remember I told you we can't sell monthly.
Mm-hmm.
She was very hard on monthly. I had an hour-long negotiation with her that I remember very vividly over Zoom, where I was trying to convince her why they could go annual, and she's like, we never go annual, we only go monthly, we never pay up front for anything. My boss would never do that. We're very strict on it. We only buy from software companies that will allow us to go low price monthly. And I failed, and they bought monthly at a higher price, but I didn't get credit for it, unfortunately. They're paying it a customer, but yeah.
That is interesting. So interesting that my cat chimed in. He says, that's weird. Wow. Okay. So that might be like a hard cultural barrier. So my thought process was, is Jennifer the actual decision maker? Or is she a middle manager or director or someone?
She was like a sales director.
A sales director. That makes sense. So what I pitched in a video, we'll see if this works or not. What I pitched, I basically said, look, when I was talking to Bailey, she had very different questions than you did. And I am starting to get really intrigued by this concept called multi-threading. And I might be totally botching this, but you basically do heavy research on like the different decision maker personas who are involved in the sales cycle. And then you do enough research where you can like casually name drop them in your communication and say relevant things about what their concerns would be pertaining to your product. That's maybe like level 1 of multi-threading. And so I tried this on this video and I said, look, Evan is going to have questions. He's the CEO. Like, how quickly can we see ROI from this? And what does the onboarding and implementation strategy look like if I'm thinking about 200 to 300 PAs internationally? How do we train them and get them using the tool so we can see ROI? But then Deborah, who actually oversees the coaches, she's having different questions in her brain. She's wondering, how do I automate the process of sending these reports to clients so that they can track how many hours they've already spent up month over month? So all these different stakeholders have different questions. we need to have the conversation with those stakeholders with you on Wednesday when you're presenting this internally. That way we can answer those in real time and have all the context that we need from that conversation to negotiate price with you. So let me know your thoughts. Like, that was kind of my pitch to him, to trying to get on the phone with the actual decision makers. Now
How long
we'll see
ago
if that
did you
works.
send that?
I sent that at like 6 or 7 p.m. his time, so like 1 p.m. my time, and he hasn't replied yet.
So very recently then.
Yeah. But hopefully next week I'll be able to follow up and say, oh yeah, had that call.
I mean, they made the point earlier that from his perspective, he's already got 50 users tied up in learning how to use this. I mean, they've already made the decision whether or not they're going to buy. They're just trying to bust your chops and get a low price.
Yeah, and they have a fiduciary responsibility to do that, and I understand that this is part of the game. So I don't fault them in any way for that. My goal here, I think, is to get in touch directly with the CEO. And maybe there's merit. What do you guys think of like just calling the CEO on his cell and hoping he picks up, and just like introducing myself to him, be like, hey, there's this thing going on. Are you aware of it? You probably are going to have questions like this and this. Yeah, what do you guys think about that?
Anybody want to put the odds on if he actually picks up the phone? That would be my one thought. It's
Totally.
worth a shot.
It's yeah. What was that, Patrick? Combo?
Throw a combo on him. You'll get him.
DM, LinkedIn, plus. Yeah.
Email, everything. Just hit them all at once.
I'll call him. Give me his number.
Combo's the best, man. Do you guys want to do it right now? What time is it where they are?
Let's just blitz him.
Yeah, I might do that
Patrick,
on Saturday if he doesn't respond to me on Friday.
Patrick,
Not
what
call
was
this
the,
cell.
Man, it's the best.
what
Not
was the
call
woman's
side.
name who you dealt with, Patrick?
Jennifer.
Why don't you call her up and be like, look, Jen,
Oh
you
my
went
God.
monthly on me. You went monthly on me. Do me this one favor. Get Nick a good deal.
No, now you have leverage, because these guys are talking about going annual. So now you know that they've redacted that policy.
Oof.
Now they're willing to go
shit.
annual.
It's like, Jennifer, I hear that you guys will go annual. All right? You were fucking with me, Jennifer. All right?
I have good inside information. Oh man,
Those motherfuckers.
they're good people. They're good people. So at what point in the sales cycle would you bust that out? I mean, we'll see. I think that, I don't know. I want to open it up for any other ideas of how to handle that objection. How would you generally handle the concept of, oh, I have a meeting with the CEO and he wants you to accept no money?
Can I just go back to the phone call thing real quick? Because I do have like a valid idea that might go along with just calling.
Sure. Heck yeah.
Try texting him after the call, and then in addition to an email, and say, hey, I just tried calling you, like everybody was saying, but it might not hurt to try texting them too. They are busy people, CEOs.
Yeah, I would agree. Gotta put my cat away on these calls, man.
Are you confident you're going to be able to get on a call with someone at some point? Not necessarily the CEO, but whoever that gent was, who bloke was, who sent you that email?
Yeah, I think that if he doesn't reply to me within his morning, that I could just try calling other people. I know who a couple other decision makers and stakeholders would be. And
Because yeah,
doesn't have
I
to
mean,
be
something
just him.
I do this a lot, especially over the last 6 months. I started doing it, is just looping in a manager in some capacity, whether it's on a call and they're there and they can back you up on price, and they really lay down the law of, hey, this is the best we can do. Because they're like, he's a sales rep, he can always go back. I'm not going to take him at his word at it. He's got a quota, blah, 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 commission breath. But you can do that via email too. Is we run this play often where I'll email whoever it is, someone in finance or my manager, and then they reply back and say, hey, look, we can do this deal if they can sign by this date. Would they be able to do this? I forward it along to whoever my prospect is, my champion. I'm like, yo, would this work for you guys? And they look at the email signature and they're like, wow, that's their director of sales who just, said that was the price at this time. Yeah, we can do it. And they're not going to play games because it's director of sales or head of sales.
That's really true. I don't have that yet, but we will soon, because I would have to go to the CEO and be like, hey. But we will soon. Our CRO starts on Monday, so that might
right.
be a viable play at that point.
Can you just give the CEO the copy though, and just tell him to send it to you?
Ooh. Yeah, good.
That's what Reid does.
This comes
Yeah,
straight from our
yeah,
CEO.
me and Patrick done this a couple
I've run
times.
this play with Reid.
Yeah.
Oh, that's brilliant. I love it. Okay. Yeah. I feel like I got some good ideas to work off of.